The sun had barely pierced the thick canopy of the South American jungle when the first sounds of movement began, branches snapping under careful footsteps, the distant calls of exotic birds mixing with the rhythmic hum of insects. The air was heavy, sticky, and almost suffocating, yet the men and women moving through it felt nothing but purpose. This was not just another mission. This was a crucible, a test of courage, loyalty, and the unspoken bond between soldiers from two nations, the United States and Ukraine. Captain Alex Monroe, a seasoned U.S. Special Forces operator, led the team. His face, tanned and weathered, carried the quiet weight of countless missions, the kind that left scars invisible to the eye but heavy on the soul. Beside him, Lieutenant Katerina Moroz, a sharp-eyed Ukrainian operator, moved with a predator's grace. She was younger, but her eyes held a storm, an intensity that had earned her respect far beyond her years. Together, their teams were about to plunge into a jungle where danger lurked not just in the shadows of trees, but in the hearts of men tested to their limits. From the beginning, the mission was as much psychological as it was physical. Intelligence reports had placed a well-armed cartel in a secluded jungle valley, its operations hidden under layers of dense foliage. For months, both teams had prepared separately, training in cold, concrete environments, dreaming of the day their paths would converge. Yet, the real challenge began the moment they were finally together. Language barriers, differing tactics, and deeply ingrained cultural habits caused friction. A heated argument over patrol strategy almost jeopardized the mission before it began. Alex had learned to carry his frustration silently. Katerina, on the other hand, was fiery. She demanded excellence, and she would not accept compromise when lives were on the line. Their initial clashes were inevitable, but as the first days in the jungle progressed, survival forged a connection stronger than protocol or ego. The team had been moving through dense underbrush for hours when a sudden, deafening crack echoed through the forest. Bullets rained from above, and instinct took over. Soldiers dropped into the undergrowth, crawling through mud and leaves, hearts pounding. Alex's mind raced, analyzing angles and predicting enemy movements. Katerina's team flanked with precision. Within minutes, the firefight escalated, forcing the two squads to work seamlessly despite the lingering tension. It was in that chaos that bonds formed. Private First Class Marcus Taylor, a young American with a bright smile and a knack for tinkering with electronics, found himself pinned under a fallen branch as bullets whizzed past. Katerina, noticing his vulnerability, darted across the clearing, hoisting the branch off him with her bare hands, her face smeared with sweat and blood. "Get up," she barked, pulling him to safety. In that instant, Marcus saw not just a soldier, but a comrade, a protector whose courage transcended nationality. Hours turned into days. Exhaustion set in, each step a battle against fatigue and the ever-present threat of ambush. Soldiers pushed past blisters, hunger, and the gnawing ache of homesickness. The jungle tested them in every imaginable way, stripping them down to raw determination and trust. Alex noticed that Katerina had a ritual. Before sleep, she would silently touch a locket around her neck. He asked about it one night, expecting some story of family or loss. She paused, then whispered, "It's my brother. He didn't come back from the front lines. I fight so that no one else loses someone they love." Alex felt the weight of her words, and a quiet respect settled between them. The mission took a darker turn when the team discovered the cartel's encampment deep in the valley. From afar, they observed families being used as shields, young children unknowingly placed in harm's way. The ethical complexity weighed heavily on everyone. They could strike decisively, but collateral damage was unacceptable. Here, strategy and morality collided, testing the soul as much as the body. During the night reconnaissance, Alex and Katerina were paired together, moving silently through the undergrowth. The jungle was alive with sounds that seemed almost sentient: the hiss of snakes, the rustle of unseen predators, the distant cries of those who had lost. Katerina's hand brushed against Alex's shoulder as a warning. He froze, understanding the silent communication. For the first time, the friction between them had disappeared. There was only trust, built in the crucible of shared danger. The assault on the cartel was planned with precision. They moved like shadows, coordinated and silent. Every operator knew their role, yet the unpredictability of humans in the wild demanded adaptability. The clash was fierce, every second stretching into eternity. Amid the chaos, Marcus saved a young boy trapped in a burning hut, while Katerina neutralized a heavily armed cartel lieutenant with surgical precision. Alex, constantly scanning, intercepted threats before they could strike, embodying the calm eye of a storm. Yet the mission's emotional climax came when they discovered the cartel's hidden armory, caches of weapons intended for atrocities far beyond the jungle. Seeing the sheer scale of potential devastation, soldiers were momentarily struck silent, understanding that their fight was part of something larger. They were not just protecting themselves or each other, they were safeguarding countless innocents. But heroism comes at a cost. During extraction, a booby trap detonated near the team's rear. Marcus was thrown against a tree, unconscious, and a fire spread quickly. Katerina dove through flames to drag him to safety, while Alex called for extraction, his voice steady but urgency clear. They were trapped for what felt like hours, the fire illuminating faces streaked with sweat and tears, revealing the raw humanity beneath the camouflage. When the extraction finally arrived, the team was battered but intact. Sitting in the helicopter as it lifted off, the jungle below shrinking into a green blur, Alex looked at Katerina, Marcus, and the others. They had survived, not just physically, but as a unit forged by adversity. The friction of early days had melted away, replaced with a deep, unspoken bond. Back at base, the soldiers gathered in the debriefing room, fatigue etched into their faces. Yet there was pride, the kind that goes beyond medals or recognition. Alex spoke quietly, almost to himself, but loud enough for all to hear. We went into that jungle as individuals. We came out as something greater. Katerina's eyes glistened with unspoken emotion. Marcus nodded, understanding the weight of what they had endured together. The story of that mission did not end with the soldiers. It carried forward as inspiration, a tale of courage, sacrifice, and the power of trust across borders. Alex, once skeptical of working with foreign teams, now advocated for joint operations, citing the lesson he learned in the jungle, that unity, compassion, and courage transcend nationality. Katerina, hardened by loss and grief, found purpose not just in fighting, but in leading, mentoring, and ensuring that no one else would face the jungle alone. Marcus, the young private, grew into a leader, inspired by the bravery and selflessness he had witnessed. The mission became a legend within Special Forces circles, not because of its tactical brilliance alone, but because of the human stories that emerged, the acts of heroism, the bonds forged under fire, the courage to face moral dilemmas and still choose the right path. It reminded everyone that true strength lies not in individual skill, but in the ability to trust, to act with integrity, and to rise together when circumstances demand it most. Months later, Alex returned to a quiet morning in his hometown, the sun rising over familiar streets. He could still feel the humidity of the jungle, the weight of the mission, the pulse of adrenaline. He knew that in every challenge ahead, he carried not just memories, but lessons that would guide him through life. Katerina, thousands of miles away, trained the next generation of operators, sharing her wisdom, instilling resilience, and nurturing courage in young soldiers who had yet to see the fire of real combat. Marcus had joined a humanitarian mission, using his skills to defuse explosive threats in areas no one else dared to go. The jungle had changed them all. It had tested their limits, stripped away pretenses, and forced them to confront the depths of their fears, their morality, and their humanity. But in doing so, it had also revealed something extraordinary: the ability of humans to rise, to protect, to connect, and to inspire. For those watching this story, it is a reminder that challenges, whether literal or metaphorical, are opportunities for transformation. That courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. That unity, compassion, and moral integrity can overcome even the darkest shadows. The soldiers of that joint operation returned not only as heroes, but as living proof that when humans stand together, when they trust and uplift one another, they can face any jungle life places before them. And so, as the sun sets on this tale, remember, every challenge is a chance to grow, every fear an invitation to rise, and every bond forged in adversity a testament to the extraordinary strength within us all. If this story moved you, if it reminded you of the power of courage and unity, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this journey with those who need a spark of inspiration today. Because, in the end, we are all capable of extraordinary courage, if we choose to rise together.